Penguin Random House Audio presents The Happiness Hack. Take charge of your brain and create more happiness in your life. This is the author, Petry Leanse. Dedication. For Alex, Jeff, and Matt, always my best teachers. A quote from the Buddha. To enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. If we can control our mind, we can find the way to enlightenment, and all wisdom and virtue will naturally come to us. From novelist Margaret Lee Runback. Happiness is not a station you arrive at, but a manner of traveling. Introduction. A few years back, I faced some big questions and daunting struggles. No one would have guessed it. I hid my worries well. But something was off, and I felt alone in my questions. Looking around, it seemed other people had answers I simply couldn't find. Watching them, I wondered what I was missing. Why do people around me seem to be thriving when I'm so overwhelmed? Is this really what life is supposed to feel like? Why do I feel like I'm wasting my time and talents? How can I set the right example for my children if I feel this way? And am I the only one asking these questions? I didn't know where to look for answers. After all, these aren't questions people bring up in casual conversations. Around me, it seemed everyone was doing great. At least that's what they told me. So I smiled harder and pretended it all made sense to me too. I felt more than confused. I felt alone. When I talked with my doctor about my concerns, he shrugged. Everyone feels this way. Maybe he thought I'd find this revelation comforting. I didn't. He talked about medications he usually prescribed when people shared these feelings. Really? I wondered. Is that the answer? Something inside told me there was another way, so I went looking for it. I opened my mind and challenged my assumptions. I read voraciously, took classes, and explored every path I could to learn how others answered life's tough questions about meaning, purpose, and the pursuit of happiness. I looked to philosophy, modern and timeless wisdom, and science. I studied anthropology and religion. I explored real-life stories and tried to increase my self-expression and self-care. Insights came slowly at first, but when I started learning about the brain, something clicked. For the first time, I saw patterns across the different paths to happiness, and even in my own experiences. With increasing clarity, I saw a new light. Neuroscience, the science of the brain, seemed to reveal some of the answers I was seeking, and the more I learned, the clearer those answers became. Today, I still have questions, but they're about what's possible, not about what's holding me back. As I've learned to work with my brain and studied its role in shaping our life experiences, I'm happier, more energized, more curious, focused, and confident, beyond what I could have imagined a few years back. Nothing could have prepared me for the benefits I've received by learning to understand and work in accord with my brain. As I've shared my learning with students and audiences in Silicon Valley and beyond, I see again and again how understanding the brain and working with it, in a word, being mindful, helps us do more of what satisfies us and less of what slows us down. This audiobook offers some of the frameworks that have helped me and the people I've worked with find purpose, clarity, and satisfaction. As I talk with people, all kinds of people, from different backgrounds and experiences, whether they've lived with ease or faced real hardship, their questions sound surprisingly like mine did 10 years ago. My intention in writing this book is to offer you a shorter path than my process gave me. Navigating unknown terrain was hard. Yet, now that I have a map, I want to share it. Understanding the brain helps give you some control of it, at least some of the time, rather than simply letting it be in charge of you. Brain-aware thinking helps you take charge of an incredibly powerful tool, guiding you to new paths, to focus, a sense of purpose, and even happiness. As you're about to learn, working with your brain gives you new ways to face life with clarity, resilience, and satisfaction. Getting to know your brain. A quote from David Eagleman, author of Incognito, The Secret Lives of the Brain. Your brain is built of cells called neurons and glia, hundreds of billions of them. Each one of these cells is as complicated as a city. Each cell sends electrical pulses to other cells, up to hundreds of times per second. If you represented each of these trillions and trillions of pulses in your brain by a single photon of light, the combined output would be blinding. The cells are connected to one another in a network of such staggering complexity that it bankrupts human language and necessitates new strains of mathematics. There are as many connections in a single cubic centimeter of brain tissue as there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Your Brain, an Owner's Guide. Inside your head is a 3-pound marvel that rivals any technology in the world today. Sparked by the flow of electrical currents and an ever-changing blend of chemicals, each with a distinct job, it unendingly updates and remaps itself to make you possible. Powered by 100 billion neurons, each connected to 10,000 additional neurons, the brain, many say, is the most complex object in the known universe. And what a job it does. It regulates your fundamental body functions, your breath, heart rate, and digestion. It manages sleep, hunger, growth, and hormonal cycles. It processes memories, emotions, cravings, and how you indulge them. It manages how you sense and navigate the world. All this, and an unending list beyond, is the work of your brain, often without you even knowing what it's up to. Your brain also does things you're very much aware of. It lets you carefully place a bandage on a child's knee, mindfully directing muscle movements that otherwise simply happen. It guides how you close your eyes and inhale slowly when you smell something delicious, savoring the aromas and the moment. When you organize how you'll study for a test, consider why you should or shouldn't get a puppy, carefully explain a process to a new employee, or stop yourself from losing your temper, you guessed it, you're also using your brain. But you're using different brain functions and even different brain areas for the various actions just described. Our brains are so complex it's hard to explain them in any one description. They remain mysterious, even with ever-advancing work in neuroscience and other cognitive sciences, linguistics, psychology, anthropology, artificial intelligence, philosophy, and more. Textbooks, websites, even popular shows explore the brain's intricacies. Yet no one discipline seems to give us a full understanding of how our brains really work, or how we can work with them. To begin to understand the brain, we could take an anatomical approach, reviewing the brain's specific regions and each of their unique roles. We could explore the chemistry of the brain, discussing how neurotransmitters and hormones modulate brain activity. We could look to psychology, studies of consciousness, or other disciplines seeking to understand life through the perspective of the brain. All of these ways are fascinating. No one path, though, does the whole job. To paint a full picture, this audiobook borrows from a range of disciplines: neuroscience, psychology, spirituality, anthropology, and more. It shares wisdom from great thinkers, from respected leaders, and from a range of artists and innovators who've left meaningful marks on the world. We'll look at all of this through the lens of happiness, sharing enough about the brain to ignite new ways of thinking about that as you make decisions about your life and your path to satisfaction. In our time together, we'll look at basic brain anatomy to show where some of the things we talk about are happening. This book includes many illustrations, which you'll find in the PDF included with your audiobook download. We'll peek at a few brain chemicals, the main ones sparking feelings of pleasure, motivation, stress, and satisfaction. We'll explore the brain's innate processes.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?